Hello and welcome to Marketing Speak. I'm your host, Stephan Spencer, and it is my pleasure to have Jamie Salvatori back again. He is the founder of VAT19.com. He is a viral video sensation. Him and his team, they have over 7 billion with a B video views and 8.5 million subscribers. VAT19.com is an e-commerce store featuring unique and quirky gifts, toys, candy, and curiously awesome oddities. Jamie's the founder of that company, and they were just killing it with over 3 billion views back in 2017 when I interviewed him the first time. Now he's back to share all sorts of new wisdom and awesomeness. Jamie, it's so great to have you back.
It's great to be here. Hopefully, I can live up to that wonderful intro. I hope I have new wisdom for you, but we'll see. We'll see.
I'll just make it up. So I know you're big into shorts now.
Yes.
You have a whole channel with I don't know how many hundreds of shorts on them, and they have some of them millions of views.
Yeah.
There's
Oh,
one with a pooping flamingo that
yes.
I have to admit I've watched at least a few dozen times. So
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that.
So yeah, first of all, why a separate channel? Why not put it on VAT19's normal channel?
So that's a great question. Shorts has been evolving. So if I were to start a shorts, if I were to start creating shorts content today, I don't know if I would separate it out into its own channel.
Mm.
Um, we weren't sure what this TikTok clone was going to be like and how YouTube was going to handle the content versus long form content. So we thought the best thing was just, hey, let's just put this content over here and see what's going to happen. Um, Part of the reason we did that, honestly, is I saw Mr. Beast do the same thing, and I thought, hey, that guy's brilliant when it comes to YouTube. If that's what he's doing, maybe it makes sense. So we start doing that. And then a few months later, I read something from him and he was like, no, I don't know. I don't know. I just felt like putting it on somewhere separate. So there was no
I
great like
flipped a coin.
insight. Yeah. Um, you know,
Somebody dared me to put it on a separate channel, right?
yeah. But one of the things we thought, so we were heavy on TikTok before obviously we made the YouTube Shorts channel. And we typically put out 2 pieces of long form content a week on our main channel. Simultaneously, we're putting out 14 TikToks a week, 2 a day, 7 days a week. And we thought, boy, if YouTube were to sort of notify our fans twice a day that we've got like a new video, a short, we felt like that might overwhelm that audience if they had subscribed to us for long form content originally. So that was another part of the equation. But today we're actually posting about 1 short a week to our main channel and then 2 a day to our shorts channel. And that could change over time. I could see a time where YouTube wants us to just post everything on the same channel.
Yeah, it's interesting that you're splitting your publishing of shorts onto the 2 different channels. You're not just posting only shorts to your YouTube Shorts channel for the VAT19 Shorts channel. What's the decision process around this? Like, oh, that one deserves to go on the main channel, or that one we need more reach, so it goes on the main channel, or this one is, the third of the week, and so that's where it goes. Like, how does that work?
Yeah, our creative director would probably love me to have an answer to that question, but it's a bit what you sort of suggested. Hey, this one feels like maybe it belongs on our main channel because we're creating so much content that is short form. You're going to have some that you just feel turned out better than others. So um, that's part of it. The other part of it is, hey, this is one that we've identified early on that we think is a cool idea. We're writing a script for it. We're going to put a little bit more time and effort into the production of it. Let's put it on the main channel. But as far as reach is concerned, what I love about shorts and TikTok and reels is that the ability to go viral seems like it's back again.
Mm.
Um, and that I felt like had been lost for many, many years on YouTube, even with a fairly large audience on our main channel on YouTube with 8.5 million subscribers. We very rarely could get a video to sort of like take off and really expand beyond our audience and get 50 million views, whereas that was possible 10 years ago on YouTube. Now I can only find that phenomenon on shorts or TikTok, where anybody can put up something, and if the algorithm latches onto it, you get 12 million views in a weekend for a short. And to me, that is invigorating again. That's exciting. That's fun. That's sort of the promise of YouTube, right, in the first place. So that's why I'm so excited about it.
Yeah. And so can you game these algorithms, or you're just finding that you have to keep throwing mud against the wall and eventually something sticks? Like what's the secret sauce to this, or have you not figured that out yet?
I yeah, I haven't figured that out yet. YouTube will try to tell you YouTube will tell you publicly that they are trying to deliver satisfaction to an individual user. So your experience on the platform is personalized to you. What signals they use to determine satisfaction, we don't totally know. We have some ideas. YouTube will tell you that, you know, engagement, so people commenting, liking, sharing a piece of content helps. That having someone watch a lot of the video so that the retention rate is really high. If people watch over 100% of your short, meaning they let it loop, that's a signal. But when you look at that analytics data as a creator, you can find pieces of content that seem to have similar metrics for the things that I explained, but one will have 10 million views and the other one has 100,000. So there's obviously a lot more um, going on sort of behind the scenes. My guess is that if a piece of content hits a threshold, these algorithms expand the reach, and will continue doing so if those metrics stay high. So what probably happens is you can create a piece of content that works well for a group this size, but it might not work well as well for a group this big. So we know what we're aiming for, but how to do that consistently for a mass market is impossible, because you're creating entertainment. Hollywood makes a few hundred movies a year, maybe it's 300-400 movies a year, and most of them you'll never hear about. You'll never know what they even were because so many of them sort of fail, and they've got the best writers, directors, producers, talent, everything. They have the best. They have the best. They can get anybody they want, and they can still screw it up. So I think it's a bit of the throwing mud against a wall. You have to keep trying things, not only to find something that works, but to prevent yourself from finding one thing that works, repeating that over and over and over. It stops working, and then you have nothing else to fall back on. At least that's been my opinion trying to make content on the internet since 2006, is that you cannot rely on one thing.
Yeah. And when did you start posting videos to YouTube?
I think our VAT19 main channel's first video was in February of 2007.
Amazing. If only you had
It's a
bought
long time.
Bitcoin.
If, yeah. Um, if I would have had any money at the time, I would have liked to have bought, Apple stock, or you know, any any number of stocks would have been nice. Bitcoin, if it was around back then.
Yeah, no, it wasn't until what was it,
Yeah,
2009? But yeah, I'm
yeah,
just I'm just poking fun. So
yeah,
if you could um, wind back the clock and say, all right, these are the strategies, knowing what I know now, and I have a time machine, I'm going to go back in time to 2007. These are the strategies I'm going to implement. These are the series and parodies and the shorts and everything that I'm going to put out over, the next 15 years or whatever. What would be the things that you'd say for sure I'm going to double, triple, quadruple down on these, and these other ones I'm going to just toss out the window? Because I know you have all these sorts of different kinds of
yeah,
shows where you're yeah, you're looking at products that you're never going to carry and you're making fun of them, and those are
yeah,
funny. And then there's ones where you're hunting down one of your employees who's hiding somewhere, like in a bunch of boxes. Like I had no idea the extent of the silliness that goes on beyond the product videos until I was prepping for this interview. It's like, wow, I can totally binge watch a bunch of this stuff. It's really funny. So yeah, yeah, tell us more about that.
well, I appreciate that you enjoy some of our content. Yeah, we put out a lot of different series and are always trying new ones to see what would work. Something that we tried recently was, hey, let's like quadruple down on some content that has been popular. We dove into our YouTube analytics and we saw, wow, there's a series here called Break It to Make It where we where we take items that we sell and then we pair them with sort of a generic household item and try to break the first item with the household item. And usually the pairings wouldn't lend themselves to breaking the item, and it's a lot of fun. And we put out we were putting that out, I don't know, once a month or something like that. And we noticed in our analytics that it was driving such a huge percentage of our views and new subscribers. So we said, okay, well, the obvious thing here is we should be doing this once a week. So we started putting it out once a week. And it worked pretty well for a couple months. And then the audience was like, okay, enough. And they stopped having the effect that they were, and the views started going down and comments were becoming a little negative, like, hey, stop it with the breaking show, like, when are you going to do this thing, when are you going to do that thing? We had sort of trained our audience over the year that we're kind of all over the place to an extent.
Mm.
So that was a good lesson to learn. It does make it difficult from a production standpoint to be doing so many different things. Um, it's a little bit easier when you can sort of turn your production facility into sort of a factory, and we're just going to churn out these shows. Um, so to really answer your question, hey, if I went back to 2007, what would I change? I don't know if the shows we're making now would even work. You know, 15 years ago. I don't think
Mm.
they would. Um, we've been really lucky. I think we're still fairly relevant. Kids still come on the tours. They're still watching our content. I was sort of a kid when I started making this stuff. I was in my early 20s when I got on YouTube. I'm 40 something now. I got 4 kids. I've got a 15-year-old that's driving now or learning to drive. Um, and we're on TikTok. We got 2.5 million followers there. People are watching our stuff. So um, I'm really lucky. So I wouldn't change much. I've made so many stupid mistakes in the last, 15, 20 years running this company. Um, and that's probably a good thing because I tr- it's gosh, I just feel like there can't be that many more mistakes for me to make. So maybe maybe I've done them all at this point, and now I'm good to go. We'll see.
So, what's your favorite out of all these different series? You've got the Break It to Make It. You've got the um, Let's Play, and Or these
Yeah, we
like
got a
one
yeah.
versus the other sort of things. You have the find the employee hiding. I forget what that one's called. Yeah, all these
Yeah,
different
that's
ones. What's your favorite?
yeah. We have hidden in plain sight,
Yep.
where an employee tries to hide from me all day, and I try to find them and put them back to work. That one's a lot of fun. Um, that's definitely a favorite. Break It to Make It's a favorite. That's fun. That's sort of our game show. That's our version of Jeopardy, if you will. It's just we just keep making episodes of that. Um, we have this other series called This Could Be Awesome, where we sort of tackle typically like a week long challenge. And for instance, we did one, you know, fairly recently where I covered my Tesla in gummy bears. I glued, I think it was like 100,000 gummy bears onto my Tesla. This really cool design kind of made it look like a race car, like a candy race car. Um, those type of videos I think are my favorite because they're so difficult to pull off. They usually start with a pretty fantastical idea, like you know the the Tesla thing, um, and they tend to have a pretty big impact. But you don't know how it's going to end up doing it. Myself,
Mm.
we don't know, is this even going to work? Another episode of that series that was a ton of fun is when we made a 2,000 pound bath bomb and pushed it into my pool. And that's another example of, look, we know the process of making a bath bomb this big, but what happens when you make it 4 feet in diameter? Will it even hold its shape, or will it just crumble under its own weight? What's going to happen? And we don't know the answer. The audience doesn't know the answer. This thing could end up being a total failure. Is it even going to work? And then when it does work, there's a lot of gratification there. So I think that might be my favorite series, although it's the hardest to do. They're the most expensive. Um, we've definitely shot more of those than I care to admit, that we got halfway through and just had to stop and just throw away all the footage. And that's very depressing,
Mm.
um, which probably makes the ones that do work, even more gratifying.
Yeah. Who does amazing science experiments on YouTube is Steve Spangler. Do you know Steve?
Yeah. I don't know him personally, but yeah, I mean, I know of him.
Yeah, he was a client for many, many years, like well over a decade. We helped him really make a name for himself on in terms of SEO and everything in the early days, like 2000 and I don't know. So no, it's actually 2003 or something is when we started working with him. So pre YouTube
I
days. Yeah.
One of his products we sold in our store. It was an early product. His instant snow product. It's a powder. You add some water to, and it instantly like puffs up into snow.
Yeah.
I think we still sell that item. So yeah, I mean, I love his stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So he sold Steve Spangler Science. Uh, he's still doing speaking and still doing a lot of TV appearances and his YouTube channels and everything. But he would be a great person to collaborate with and come up with all sorts of crazy experiments. Like
Yeah,
the elephant
we tr-
toothpaste, all that sort of
yeah,
stuff.
oh yeah, that stuff is so good. Like we I had this we did a show. It didn't work. We we have a lot of battle scars of shows or series that we tried to do that just didn't work. One of them was called Stupid Science, where we would sort of do a stupid science experiment and then we try to do something sort of smart or whatever, in contrast or whatever. So there was two hosts, me and another guy. The other guy was sort of the stupid and I was supposed to be the smart. The problem is I don't know enough about science, so it never really worked. um, but then I had this other idea I'd love to do with someone that knows something about science, called Giant Science. We would do all sorts of cool science experiments, but I'm talking it'd be big stuff because that would bring kids in. Like when Mark Robert did, put or I think Mr. Beast or with Mark Rober, Mr. Beast like blew out a house with that elephant toothpaste, that type of stuff. Just giant science. I think kids would tune in for that. All I have is the name right now, but it's catchy. So Steve, if you're out there watching, or Mark Rober, you want to use the name, you got to come to me. We'll talk about it. We'll do it. We'll make giant science. Or maybe Mr. Beast wants to do it because he's friends with Mark Rober.
Yeah, they might just be watching this.
I hope so. I hope so.
I could always send you and Steve an intro. That's another option.
That would be great. Yeah, giant science.
I like it. I like it. So you're in some of the videos, but not in every video. What is the decision-making process around who is the talent in each of the different videos?
Well, it's going to depend on the situation. When I first started, I had to be in every video because I was like the only person here. We don't hire actors for our videos unless we absolutely have to. So the people that work at VAT19 are the ones that are in the videos. And as the company has grown from basically just me to now, I think we got about 30, 35 employees, we have a lot more people to choose from. And they are oftentimes just much better talent than I am. I have a few recurring roles, right? I have to be the boss to search for the employee that's hiding from me. I play the announcer and break it to make it. But other than that, I think they're just, when they're choosing who's going to be in the videos, the directors just decide who they think's going to be good. And what I've noticed over the years is that if they do cast me in a video that has scenes with lines, I'm usually the guy with the fewest number of lines. So I think acting isn't my calling, and that's why I don't feature in many of the videos anymore. But we also make a conscious decision here at VAT19 to sort of rotate people through the videos so that a show isn't necessarily associated with one person or just a couple people that work here, because folks are going to move on over time, and you don't want the series to die because somebody has taken a new job.
Yeah, makes sense. Have you guys put out any parodies of things like reality shows or
We have
yeah, tell us
we
more about
have
that.
oh, okay, so our creative director here is a very funny guy, and we have a couple of our writers here are improv comedians trained, so we got some funny folks. So parodies are up their alley. When Dude Perfect was like at the height of their sort of ascent, right? I mean, they're still hugely popular, but when they sort of, came onto the scene and were, just going to the stratosphere, we made a little show called Dude Decent, where we did trick shots, but they all failed, but we would still celebrate really big like they did. Like the celebrations were bigger than the sort of the tricks that we were doing. And it actually caught the attention of ESPN. And they reached out and said, "Can we put clips from your Dude Decent parody on Sports Center tonight?" And so I'm actually, along with other people here, I actually have been on Sports Center, which is a huge highlight of mine. So that was a really cool
Why didn't you include
parody
that
that
in your bio that I read at the
I
beginning?
know, I know has been on Sports Center. I know, I buried the lead. Um, Another parody series that we've been doing recently. I don't know if you're familiar with this guy. His name is Darman, and he
Mhm.
makes YouTube, and TikTok videos. He's very popular. If you looked him up on YouTube, it's his first name's Dhar. Last name is Mann, and he makes these sort of. I think the best way to describe them is like if after school specials were soap operas. Okay, so really over the top acting, The dialogue is like crazy, very simple moral lessons, just like hit you over the head with, um, the lesson that's trying to be taught. Um, so just like they're sort of very cheesy and sort of cringy, but people love it. I mean, if you look at his YouTube channel, I mean, every video is getting 5, 10 million views. Huge on TikTok. The guy's probably gotten 30 billion views across all social platforms. Has 20 million plus subscribers or more everywhere. So we've made some. We've made a handful of parody videos, and a highlight there when we put out our first one was not only all the people that were super confused thinking it was like an actual Darman video, but Dar himself commented on our video, which is always huge when um, someone's cool about it. And, I think he said something like, you know, uh, not gonna lie, that was pretty funny or whatever. Um, so that's been a ton of fun.
Did you end
We're
up
doing some
doing
more of
any
those.
collabs with any of these folks like Darman or anybody else?
Um, no, we haven't. I will say that in my opinion, the age of collabs is sort of, I don't know. It's over as far as I'm concerned. Folks aren't doing it as much. It's harder to come by. People don't want to do it. They're doing their own thing.
Hmm.
Um, they're like, look, if I'm going to put something else into my content, I got to get paid for it. And I don't blame them. So, yeah, it's been a people aren't collabing as much as they used to, which I feel like is kind of sad. Um, we have our sights set next on Mr. Beast just because he's the most popular YouTuber out there. So we're working on some parody content about Mr. Beast. Hopefully that doesn't backfire because I know he's the most beloved creator on the platform. But I mean, you got to punch up, you know. I don't want to, we've never parodied somebody that um, uh, is we've only parodied folks that are just absolutely crushing it, and I think they can take
Yeah,
a little joke here or there.
yeah. But what about TV shows? Like there are some uh, really great or at least infamous reality TV shows you could parody.
I think we've I think we've done little things like in a commercial here or there, which will kind of make fun of that type of stuff. But it's usually a quick joke here or there. I think we've done some quick jokes making fun of all of the home renovation shows that were so popular. But today, I feel like we're really speaking to the TikTok generation,
Hmm.
the short form generation, the YouTube generation, and I don't know how many TV shows they're watching, anymore. I mean, I think they watch a handful and like Netflix, streaming, um,
Well, there you go. I
which
mean,
makes it hard. Which yeah, but it
let's
makes it
take
hard to do.
streaming Netflix shows. One of the popular ones is I forget the name of it. It maybe Life After Death with Tyler Henry, the
Mhm.
Hollywood Medium. So he's this young
I don't
guy
know
who
that
goes into
one.
Hollywood homes and he connects and gives the reading, and it's like,
Sure,
what?
sure he
How
does.
could you
Yeah,
possibly know that?
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Google. That's how he knows it. Google. Yeah. That sounds like, yeah, that could be pretty good. Yeah, the hard thing about doing, I just feel that viewership is so fragmented now. As a culture, when there weren't as many channels, everyone was kind of watching the same stuff. But today, you got to wait for something like a Stranger Things to come along, which is such a phenomenon for people to know what you're talking about. You so that was one. I was talking to our guys here, and they're like, we can't pull off a Stranger Things parody. It'd be way too expensive. It'd be cool, but like we don't have the budget or the money, which is true. So yeah, we just got to pick our spots when it comes to parodies.
So couldn't you run some sort of contest where people could audition to be in this Stranger Things parody, and the total budget for this is 10 grand or something? It's ridiculous how little money it is, and somehow they have to pull it off.
Um, I like that. It's a good idea. That could be fun. Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to bring it back up to our creative director and see if we could find a creative way to do it. Um, I think the thing we were running into there was with the sets, because it is a period piece, Okay, how do we make this look like it's, you know, how do we make our studio sets look like it's happening in the 80s? That's tricky, right?
So,
If we want to go,
okay, so
so that's
take this as an idea. I just grabbed this out of thin air. You know that old show Thunderbirds, where the little characters were these little toy kind of things from the 60s?
yes,
And combine that with Stranger Things. So it's Stranger Things meets Thunderbirds. And so all the sets are really
okay,
tiny and
right.
toys.
There we go. Set problem solved. Yeah. Uh, yeah, I like that. I mean, constraints are really good, I think, from a creative standpoint when you're trying to do stuff. Having unlimited budget, which I've never had the good fortune of having, but I can imagine that could almost be,
I think that would actually
um,
be a detriment. It's like,
yeah,
you know what Parkinson's law is?
I don't.
The amount of time a project takes magically somehow fills the amount of time you give it. So you give somebody a half hour to turn around this big project, and they'll have something for you in a half hour. If you give them 2 weeks, they'll take the full 2 weeks, and it won't be that much better than if they had turned it around in a half hour.
uh, yeah. Um,
So maybe one of
I
the
bet.
ideas that you could
Yeah,
apply in your brainstorming process is, let's make it ridiculously constrained.
you know what? There's a common or a popular filmmaking contest. I think it's still around. It was popular when I was younger. It's called the 24-hour film contest or 24-hour film festival or whatever. So you show up on a Friday night and they give you sort of like a topic, a genre, the name of a character, a line of dialogue, and like a prop that have to be in your movie. You're going to make a short movie that has to be, between 2 and 4 minutes long or whatever. I don't remember what all the constraints were. And they're basically like, okay, it's Friday, it's 6 p.m. Yeah, your video has to be submitted uh, in 24 hours. That's it. And then we'll screen them all, um, on Sunday. And it was great fun
Mhm.
because you're just like, we got 24 hours. That's it. We just got to like pull something together, and you're picking stuff out of a hat. So, oh, we got to do a silent film. How are we going to do that? Or we got to do a Western. How are we going to do that? We got 24 hours. And the stuff that people would do that they could pull off was amazing. So,
Yep.
um,
Some of the
I love the
greatest
constraints.
works of all time were created in a very short time. So, for example, have you ever read The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho?
Mm,
Okay, 150 million copies sold. Great book. 150 million copies. Okay, guess how long that uh, story or that book took to write?
I hope it's not like 4 hours.
No, no,
you know,
not quite that much bad, but or that little. But it was 12 days. 12 days and 150 million copies sold.
it's pretty good.
Yep.
It's not bad.
It's a
It's not
great
bad.
book, by the
Yeah,
way, if you want to either read it or listen to it on Audible. The Audible version is read by Jeremy Irons, the actor. Really, really good.
love him.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk a bit about reaction videos. Those are a thing on TikTok.
Oh yeah.
What are you doing
I
in?
wish we could. Yeah, I wish we could come up with a good React concept. We haven't. We haven't been able to. come up with a good one. But I do think that TikTok really, well, I don't know. We think that those platforms like it when you use their stitching and duet features. We don't have the data to back it up per se, but we have an intuition that content that features duets and stitches seems to perform better than wholly original content.
Mm.
Um, so yes, finding fun ways to stitch or duet or react to people's content, I think, is a good way to get you know do well on TikTok. I mean, I think a lot of folks are familiar. I don't even know his name, but he's sort of like that sarcastic, angry chef that sits there on TikTok and reacts to people, making stuff. Gordon Ramsay got really popular on TikTok doing sort of the same thing, but this sarcastic chef, I think, is from New York. I think, is maybe a little bit funnier than Gordon. But we haven't found a piece of content we haven't found a vehicle yet to do a consistent React series.
Mm.
Maybe one day we will, but
So for our,
not
our
yet.
listener who doesn't really know that much about TikTok, can you define Stitch and Duet for us?
Oh, so a stitch would be like there's some of your content, then some of their content, and then maybe some more of your content, or whatever. So you're just like stitching in a piece of someone else's content, and then you put that video up.
Mhm.
Whereas a duet, your content is seen side by side simultaneously.
Mhm.
So
Right. So there are different ways of doing that, right? So you can have somebody on top who's the original video you're commenting about, and then your video is underneath it, or you could have it in the background and you're pointing around at different parts of the screen. I've seen plenty of
right,
those. Like
yeah,
what's
yeah, the
the
green screen.
what's the best way to do this in the most engaging way?
I think it depends on the content that you're duetting. I mean, there's it's fun when sometimes you'll see right someone will duet someone else's duet, right? So now you end up with three videos playing simultaneously, and on and on and on. So you end up with sort of a screen full of 8, 10 people all reacting to the same original piece of content.
Mhm.
But I warn any content creator from looking at the success that anyone else has had and just saying, oh well, I should just do that, right? I should apply this technique or that technique. I think when you watch people on TikTok or any platform espousing uh, the way to success or the way to make money in real estate or whatever it is, right? You sort of know from your intuition that they're sort of full of it because there's so many different ways to be successful, right? When Grant Cardone is screaming at you, about uh, you know, you should never own your own home, you know, um, because he doesn't, and he's flying around in a private jet. Does that really mean that's what you should do? No, of course not. He's crazy. He's selling courses, right? I hate that guy. And anyone like him. I hate all those people that try to tell you that there's only one way to success in this world, and it's through making passive income through real estate. Come on.
Now that pretty much is the only way to make money.
Right. That is pretty much, you might be right. Yeah. What am I doing? I need apartments. I need lots of apartments. I got this pile of cash. I got to figure out how to get rid of it. Every day I wake up and I have my girl bring me in my sheet and it says how much cash do I have on here? And we got to get rid of that cash. I mean,
Uh,
the guy
the
is just a
future is
blowhard.
STR, short-term
Right.
rentals.
Yeah. So, you see something like that, you're not, and you're like, are we sure this is, or who's that? Oh, what's his name? Oh, I'm so bad at the names. I think, is it like Daniel Pena or something? He's sort of this um old guy. I think he's got like a white goatee, and he has these classes, and he's just screaming at everyone in the class, right? And he's making fun of them, and he's telling them, that he's emasculating every man that's in the room, um, and saying the only way to have success is his way, right? Which is just screaming at everyone and just being so aggressive and a jerk and blah blah
Oh,
blah.
you should do a
I mean,
parody online course about how to win at YouTube. Make it like one of those scammy, make money fast
yeah.
videos.
Well, yeah, it's well, or a master class on something um extremely specific, that nobody really needs. I just anyways, my the point of the rant on all of that is that those folks get very specific. They happen to have success, and they think that the way they did it and had success, therefore, is the only way to do it. Um, and there's definitely some, uh, as far as making content for YouTube or TikTok, there are some best practices. And TikTok and YouTube, I mean, they've laid out on their website what those suggestions are, but they're very broad. And you have to start making content and experimenting and see what works for you. Um, and I think, and it's so cheesy, but you have to make content that you enjoy making. That's it. That's it. If you're making stuff because you think it'll work or you think it'll get views or but you're not really doing it because you want to,
Mhm.
it's never going to work
Yeah.
out. That's about as far. I mean, I probably put out 1,500 long form videos on YouTube, hundreds and hundreds of shorts at this point. I still don't know what works. And how many movies has Hollywood put out? They don't even know what works. They'll tell you sequels work, but I mean, you know,
Oh my
how many
goodness, did you
times has
see
that
the
failed?
Top Gun sequel? That was
I
amazing.
I I did.
Did you
Um,
like it?
I mean, I did like it. I mean, I have thoughts. I don't. I mean, so that's the best we can. That we're gonna.
You're
That's
you're a
gonna get
tough
1.5
critic.
billion dollars. No, I'm not a tough critic. I just I
They got like
why
97% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I know. I thought it was good. I just thought it was pretty much the same movie as
A little formulaic.
the
Yeah,
first
yeah,
one.
okay, so
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And I'm just nostalgic for the original. Um and then there was just a couple things, where you're like um the unnamed country that's our that's the enemy there,
Mm.
so that this movie can be uh played in China. We're not going to say it's the Chinese, or we're not going to say that box office considerations. Like this is a jingoistic movie, right? Pumping up the United States Air Force, but we're not going to say who our enemy
Who the
is, so
enemy is,
that
yeah.
yeah, so that this movie we can be assured that it won't get shut down playing in China or Russia or any of these other places. Little things like that are like
Yeah.
we
You're
wouldn't
looking
have
at it
done
as
that.
a
We wouldn't.
content creator and the consumers that didn't even occur to them. Like,
I don't know.
they're just chomping down on
But
their popcorn.
yeah, but dude, Tom Cruise is a bad man. He is a. I mean, is he almost 60 years old? Dude looks young.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, I don't know. Maybe it was all special effects, but I don't know the stuff that guy can pull off, like from a stunt perspective and everything. Like, I don't know. I Did you hear? I saw something. He's going into space. Did you read that article?
No, I didn't.
He's supposedly he's going to be like the first civilian to do a spacewalk for a movie. I think for an upcoming Mission Impossible
Really?
movie. He's gonna
What?
Yeah, they're gonna take him up to space, and he's gonna do like an actual space, or maybe it's not for Mission Impossible. I think the gist of the movie was like, he's there's some sort of calamity that's going to befall Earth, and he's the only person on Earth that can save it. But to do it, he's got to be sent to outer space,
Isn't
and
that
they're really going to
the
send him to
plot
space.
line of pretty much every other movie he's in?
Yeah. But I mean, I'm serious. Hold on. I gotta Google this. Tom Cruise spacewalk. Yes. Okay, this is from a day ago. The Smithsonian Magazine has an article on it, so it's probably true. Okay. So it says Universal Studios is willing to send Cruise into space for a proposed action film, but plans aren't official yet. So, yeah, all right. Okay, so he can have the highest grossing movie of the year. Yeah, he can have that. He's just a bad man. I mean,
in what way?
no, like he's just awesome. I mean,
Okay,
I
like
know a
bad
lot
is
of,
good.
like
Okay,
when it
got it,
comes to,
got it.
yeah. No, I don't. As a movie star or whatever, he's on. I think in certain ways unparalleled, right? I mean, he's doing all those stunts basically himself, and he's almost, I think, 60 years old. How old is Tom Cruise? Google. He is 60.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
He's gonna go walk in space.
I know. Okay. So let's do a little lightning round here for a minute and a half, and then we'll close out the episode. Average session time of watching shorts on YouTube is, or average session number of shorts in a
YouTube says it's 200.
200.
Can you believe that?
200
shorts
in an average session of watch.
Right.
Crazy.
And you might do that. Yeah, a kid might do that 5-10 times a day.
Crazy.
30 billion views a day. That's just on shorts. On YouTube shorts, people are watching 30 billion views a day. So I think there's a real supply problem.
Yeah.
Or there's going to be a real supply problem there because the demand is up here. Okay. Even if every creator was making 10 shorts a day, what is that? 3 billion creators need to be supplying stuff on a daily basis for you to see new stuff. Think about that.
Yeah. Okay. This is not lightning round. We're going too slow here.
I'm sorry. I know.
Product placements. Have you ever done that where you paid a YouTube creator to have your product in the videos?
No.
You ever plan to?
No.
Okay. Have you ever collaborated with another e-commerce company to do something awesome, curiously awesome?
If I'm forgetting someone right now, yes. Well, I have. Are they an e-commerce? They're a manufacturer. Crazy Aaron. He makes putty. He's in Target. Whatever. I don't know if he's really e-commerce. He has his own e-commerce store. We've collaborated a bunch of times on content.
Cool. All right. And last question: is AI going to eat the world?
Yes.
No, the aliens are going to save us first.
Oh no, but we're gonna love the way it. We're gonna love being digested and pooped out. We're gonna love the journey. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
I don't love my robot overlords.
Yeah. Ditto. If you're watching robots. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know anything about AI. I'm an idiot that makes YouTube videos. No one should listen to me.
Everyone should be using AI to make YouTube videos, right? Trick question.
Dude, if it worked though,
all right.
If it worked, I'd sign up.
I know we're out of time. So if folks want to buy some curiously awesome stuff like crazy toys and candies and things like that, I don't know, 500-pound gummy bears or whatever the biggest sizes you have these days, where do they go?
They go to vat19.com. I have a hat somewhere. Yes, that's where you go. That's it.
All right.
My dirty hat. All right.
Jamie, this is a blast. You're curiously awesome. Fun. Thanks for coming back.
I apologize if I ruined part of your podcast here with my not following
No,
directions.
no, it all unfolded perfectly. And thank you, listener.
Good.
We'll catch you in the next episode. This is your host, Stephan Spencer, signing off.